go. Don't want to miss a second. I don't know if you can see us yet. Hey. Cool shirt.
This music is where
He can hear us. We can't hear him though. Say something funny, Scott. He'll laugh.
Buddy Scott.
Nope.
Is he muted?
Nope. He's probably screwing with us. He's like, I'm gonna screw with these guys for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Look at the setup. He's got a nice mic there.
Yeah.
I think he's saying, I can hear you guys in the headphones, but no, we can't hear you yet.
No.
Oh man. Look at the sun shining through his window, Scott. That's California sun on the floor.
Yeah.
Like cold Canadian sun coming in our window. At least I do right here. Oh, I still haven't got the over there. Oh man. We could fill in the words for him.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yay.
I hear something.
Fuck.
That's not what I'm
recording this.
Yeah, but now it's not the microphone.
Oh. Wow.
That means, hold on a second. Hold on. But at least the I don't hear the delay as much. But now we won't hear this. Hold on.
Oh, all your planning just went out the window, didn't it?
Was that?
All your planning just went out the window, didn't it?
Totally.
It's like,
But I
oh,
didn't have a chance to wash my hair, so I'll wear headphones anyways. Dude, nice shark.
Thanks.
You have my address, right? Still, it would have been nice if it wasn't. Hold on. Okay, let's get this going. It would have been nice if it wasn't like Wow, that's a lot of fucking reverb, man. Hold on a second. I adjust the reverb from my phone. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Technology. And I have to stand. And now that I'm seeing me standing, the guitar's out of the shot. So I'll have to lift it periodically. Hold on a second. Ah, you like the shirt?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were all wearing the shirt.
Scott doesn't have one. And I thought, well, I wear it all the time. I have another shirt that is equal to the. Holy. So glad you got that sound figured out.
Are you joking?
That sounded amazing.
It's crazy,
God.
right?
Okay, your turn, Sky. Grab your ukulele.
Yeah. Yeah. You do what?
Okay.
This is supposed to be a video. I just want to watch you play that thing for the next 40 minutes.
Right. Let me stand.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. What?
Oh my God. This thing has a life of its own, doesn't it? Like it's
Dude,
just,
when I got the message from Pat Smear this morning, I was like, what? Why is Pat Smear calling me? And he just sends, is that yours? And I'm like, fuck yeah. Who else?
Then he went, why doesn't it have a Floyd Rose on it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How many times have you heard that from people?
8.
100 times.
8.
Oh my God. Okay,
You
so
know, clearly when somebody says that, they have no clue like what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't
It's
understand
like,
it.
oh no, the best, aside from the Floyd, aside from everything else. Wow, it looks like a really cool guitar until you ruin it with the paint job. And I was like, Okay, this guitar just went over your head like I've never seen anything go over anybody's head before.
Mhm.
The sound, eh?
Oh my God. What?
Crazy.
And that's the speaker going into the computer monitor. I mean, the computer.
Just your computer speaker.
It's coming in, yeah, computer speaker.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you can totally hear it, that it's got so much tone to it, you know, like it's not coming through thin at all. I don't know about you, Scott, but it sounds great for,
you know what else?
me.
I tried this morning. I tried this morning to raise the pickup. I was using, just to see if I liked it closer to the strings, I used like rubber feet off a pedal. And
okay.
And I'm like, well, that fucking sucks, having rubber in between the metal and metal. So this morning I found a couple of washers to put them on, but I didn't want to take the strings off. But if you put anything metal near the pickup, it gets stuck underneath under the magnet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Jesus Christ, come on. So then still got to put something under here. I was thinking, I started drilling through 4 quarters because I think 50 cents would be good under each leg.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm gonna do that when I have time. I gotta get the right drill bit too, otherwise it'll take all day just to drill.
Yeah.
So how you guys doing, man?
Good.
Awesome.
Excellent.
How about you?
Oh, dude, I can't believe how busy I've been over the last couple of weeks, getting ready, writing and recording for Kurt, and then Bon Jovi Day's coming up in April.
Yeah.
Doing
April,
15
right?
shows. Yeah.
Excited for that finally to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be weird because of the COVID bubble, you know?
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of, you know, we can't have guests, there's no backstage tours. Like if I had friends come to, you know, previously, I go, hey man, you can come meet me at the thing at 6 o'clock and I'll take you backstage. You can see my guitars and the rig and everything, and everybody, you can go on the stage and shit. It's really awesome. But now it's not happening.
Yeah. Well, little bit by little bit, right?
A little bit, but hey, at least we're playing.
Yeah.
So I just need a few disguises to walk through the hotel lobby, so I don't get mobbed.
Yeah.
That's it. It's over. Starbucks becomes a meet and greet.
Yes. Hey, it's Phil.
Yeah.
What do you get?
Oh, man, that happened the other day. There was a mailman. Fucking anything Americano, black as the night. There's a mailman that was like outside the door. I was putting the garbage out, and he was filling in for the regular mailman. And he's like, "Are you Phil?" And I thought he was going to ask me about mail, right? I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Phil X?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then he goes, "Phil X, Phil X?" And I say, "Yes." He goes, Phil X, the guitar player? Okay, I can say I'm not. How's that? And then you just go on your mirror rate. But yeah, it's me. And he was like, "Oh man, I'm a huge fan," and that was it. Oh man, it's funny when I have this rule when I'm on the road. It's kind of like, hey Phil X. I'm like, "Hey man, how you doing? Yeah, can we get a selfie?" "Yeah, sure, no problem." And then if they don't know my name, and you look like that guy that's playing with Bon Jovi now. I'm like, "Yeah, I get that a lot. Have a good day."
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know my name, why take my time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know that guy from somewhere.
Do we want to start this puppy?
Yeah, let's talk about the
Somewhere.
guitar.
I'm like, okay.
The one thing I wanted to know, because I'm the last guy to be brought into this, you guys started this. How did you first, Phil, come up with the idea of an SG that looks almost exactly like Eddie's guitar?
For me, it was kind of like just, you know, he had passed and I wanted the ultimate tribute from me, a Phil X ultimate tribute to the king. Because to me, he's the king. People chime in sometimes and say, no, he's not. And I'm like, delete, block, get out of here. You know, because I mean, it's an opinion, right?
Yeah.
So my opinion is what the one we're talking about. Okay, let's get that straight. So anyways, I call Gibson and I'm like, hey man, can I get an SG without paint on it? And I tell Cesar, the guy running the show, yeah, we could do that. But you know, maybe we could even, if you want, I could talk to the guys about doing the routes. And I'm like, salivating. So that gave me the idea.
Yeah.
But then when it came down to one of the luthiers emailing me going, we can't do the routes. That's too much CNC stuff and shit. So,
Oh, yeah.
and then I go, can you
A
send it
lot
to
of
me?
programming.
Oh yeah, for sure. Can you send me a blank? And they're like, oh yeah, we can do that. We'll send you a blank. So then I'm talking to Scott and I go, so it's going to be blank. And he's like, well, I know the guy who can do the routes if you're cool with that.
I got a guy with a router.
Right. Not knowing who you are and not knowing your history and your Frankenstrat archaeology job.
Yeah.
Not knowing any of that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, me and Scott kind of bonded through messages and our Eddie Van Halen geekdom. And I thought, well, I got to be able to trust this guy, right? And so that's where my faith in humanity sometimes is right. So and that happened. You know, I got this guy Johnny. I've known him since I was 6, and I'm like, well, that doesn't mean anything really.
Yeah,
you guys go bowling on Wednesdays? Fine. Can he route?
Yeah. I can hack this thing out. It doesn't even look anything like it.
Right.
And now you have to live with it.
Or he gets it backwards. He put the humbucker by the neck and the red pickup by the bridge, and you're like, this is what? You know, you never know.
I'm like, it looks cool, right? Look.
Yeah, round work. Yeah.
I think it looks better this way.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for your opinion again.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that as we went on and the whole conversation turned into a 3-way combo, and then your video started coming up, and I started watching your videos, and I was like, holy, a whole new respect for someone you've never met before. So that was really cool. And dude, I love the tape video. I sent it to everybody. I even sent it to Pat this morning when we were talking.
Nice.
Yeah. But you know, it's funny how that first piece of tape is like that cruddy end, right? Like it didn't come off the spool right. And he just left it because he's like, I can't wait to paint this thing. You know?
Pretty much. I mean, it's and if you watch the video, that one piece is all one. Like it's not several pieces he put on here and there. They all join together.
Yeah.
I don't know if he
amazing.
did that several times before he got it to where, you know, it looks like something he wanted, because if you take a guitar body and just start wrapping tape around it, I don't think it's going to look as good as what he ended up with.
No.
Right. Exactly.
You know, it's perfectly spaced. Like, you know, I got to try it sometime.
Yeah, it's unbelievable though.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically the beginnings of this.
And then
of this.
And you didn't think it was going to turn out as like that, or like what was your?
No, you know what I mean. Anytime you change, like you're talking about bodies, you know, to think, it's almost assuming that the stripes will look fine. It's got horns. It'll look fine. But that's what surprised me.
Yeah.
What surprised me was up here, how that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole thing, obviously, but I thought, wow, man, it's a completely different shape, completely different angles. It's got the bevel, whereas the Strat has the
just the radius.
Yeah, it's got that, and it's just, how's it gonna work? And it did. So I was blown away by that. Even when it was black and white, I remember seeing the picture in black and white. Going, what the fuck?
Yeah. I wanted so bad to tell Scott, leave it the way it is. It looks so perfect now. And I was like, no, you can't say that, because this has to be the red, white, and black version. It has to be. Scott will do it. But it was so perfect black and white.
I was terrified.
So awesome.
You pulled it off.
Totally pulled it off.
I was terrified to tape it for red, though. I just thought, with the white and black, it was perfect.
Yeah.
The black and white one wanted me to ask Gibson for another guitar.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the black and white one with just one pickup. I mean, the black and yellow. We'll do the
cut the bottom horn off.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to do that. No, I'm not doing that to myself.
Not to this one. No, that would have been bad. I suggested that at the beginning. Cut the bottom horn off, but not the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't realize that the SG body is a completely different configuration than a Strat body. Like where the pickups are in relation to everything else. Like, it could have ended up looking like a sideways version of a Picasso painting instead of how it looks, you know, like it's meant to be that way.
I'm not a fan of how, to give you an example of not good, and that's just my opinion again. We should call this show Phil's opinion. I don't like how the Wolfgangs look with the paint job.
Oh, okay.
I think that horn is too.
Again, it's a different. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't come in enough. Like it's not
Right.
a real horn. Like
One horn's too small, one horn's too big and fat, and it's kind of like to me those paint jobs, the striped guitars on the Wolfgangs doesn't look as good as how this came out for sure.
I agree.
I don't want to downplay it too much.
I think you can say some things. I think we're allowed.
I think we're that.
We're biased, yeah.
Artistic license.
Well, we got the proof right there. I mean, look at it.
Oh, and then wait, okay, so Pat again was man, you got the quarter on there? I go, and the reflectors on the back. Send me a picture. And I'm like, what? It's so badass. And then when I was playing, it was funny. This is one of those guitars, like you could walk on stage anywhere with any guitar and people are gonna be like, oh, cool. But when I was doing shows with Kurt Dimer and I used this for the last song, I walked on it and the audience was like, what? Like at first, people think it's like an actual Frankenstrat, and then they realize, wait a minute, it's got what? It's a Gibson headstock, and it is a Gibson, and what? It's like, it was so awesome. And people are like, do some Van Halen, man, do some Van Halen. I'm like, oh, sorry, that's all right. Next time.
Yeah, but you know, that was the cool part. You didn't come out with like you know, playing Eruption or You Really Got Me. You played your own stuff, and that's the whole point of this guitar, is that it's your guitar painted like Eddie's guitar.
And, you know, we talked about this earlier where people were like, you should have put a Floyd on it. And, you know, obviously an SG isn't thick enough for a Floyd, but I don't even like playing a Floyd. I mean, it's my guitar. I love playing it like a stop tail piece. Yeah. And, I mean, I'm the one playing it. Get yourself a blank SG, paint it, route it yourself, put a Floyd on it. Good luck. But this is, you know, this is a guitar that I would take on the road with Bon Jovi. And it's my tribute to the king, and I would play it. And again, it was funny because the only thing that's been done since your handiwork was the wraparound tailpiece. Yeah,
no, that's a huge improvement.
Yeah, which was done in Dallas and by an amazing guy, Spencer. Amazing luthier, amazing repair guy. And the funny thing about that was I sent you a video of him drilling. Yeah. And you were like, oh man, that's like watching someone make out with your girlfriend. I thought that was the best line.
Treat her nice. I touched it there. What are you doing?
Right, exactly.
I did a good job, though. Great job. And that's a huge improvement over that bridge, because when I thought that was the bridge that you wanted. That's the one that Gibson sent with that guitar.
Well, I do have an SG. This is just to get back to the origin. I have two 64 custom shop SGs that I used on the Drills tour in 2020, and I love those guitars. And they come with that bridge with the Vibrolux Maestro.
And the tiny screws.
Yeah, so it's got that, and those guitars sound great. But something happened to this to have this different wood. You know, when you think about your routes and the original routes, that's a different wood makeup right away because of where wood is missing and not. Yeah, and it just didn't have that thing. So when I was in Dallas, I was like, wait a minute, I should just get my buddy to put a wraparound in this. And he did. And then that night I used it, and the difference was like night and day. It was so amazing that I'm putting a wraparound on my signature. I'm so excited.
That was cool to see that you did that.
Yeah, for sure. But I love how this looks. I mean, with the plate, the Gibson plate that actually goes here, I love how that looks. Yeah. And I love the weight of it. It adds weight to the body. So that's kind of cool too. And when I was talking to the luthier, he said, let's do that apparatus plus the wraparound bridge. Plus you get the whammy bar in the case in case you want to throw it on and just use the wraparound as a bridge. Because you can. Your guitar can come with an option. And I was like, oh, I like it.
So that's like your signature thing within your signature guitar. Is it because there's no other guitar that has that, right? I've never seen one.
No. It's pretty awesome. But you know what? Let's get back to you know, we were going through stuff and you did all the routing and we had to talk about squeezing the cavities closer together to compensate for the shorter scale of a Gibson compared to for a Fender.
That and the way the horns come in too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that to me was kind of like, I wonder if anybody else would have thought of that. I thought like, I was like, no man, you can't do that. That neck will snap off.
That's what I was nervous about. Putting that single coil really close to the neck, because that's all you're routing right into the meat that holds that neck on.
Right.
You want to leave as much as possible. And we had that fake dummy pickup that was actually, you know, like half the thickness of what it should be, which was perfect because we could leave more material in there and try to keep as much strength in that as possible. But the trick was you can't just scale the routes down like shrink them, because each route had to be the same size as the original because the pickup had to fit in. So you can't just scale it down. You had to take away from somewhere, and the only place was in between where the pickup routes were. So, and it worked.
And I don't even know, because of the paint job, I don't even know if a lot of people notice that they're closer together.
Yeah, it hides it, yeah.
No, it doesn't stand out. And the one thing that I'm glad we didn't do was the trench, because that would have stuck out, I think, like a sore thumb. People would have looked at it and what is this thing here?
And just so you guys know what we were talking about, we were wondering if we should have a trench from the pickup to the volume pot.
Yeah, it wouldn't have looked good.
No, that would.
I'm so glad that we went back. We went back and forth like a whole bunch of times. I think Scott was the only one that kept going like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's something about the recklessness that Eddie had towards his guitars, like chisels instead of routers or whatever you had. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you really had to watch when you were routing for this, not to go too deep, because you would have came out the back, right?
Well, it was really close. Like if I routed that like a normal Strat body, what was left is probably about 1/8 of an inch thickness, and it's good enough. But you whip that guitar around on stage, and it hits like your belt buckle or something. It could,
or it's like paper, and my thumb goes through it. Hey, check it out.
Yeah. So the only part that really had to be thin was where the jack comes in. You know, where the patch cord comes in. So that part is about 1/8 of an inch, but that's only a tiny little pinpoint, and everything else is thicker. So, you know, it was just one of those things that you had to sort of look ahead and plan a little bit. And when I was setting up the router, that's when I started to notice it. Like, this is going to be so close to the back of the guitar. Yeah. Another little adjustment and compromise, but it's what you got to do to end up with that.
Yeah, totally. So I'm gonna go back to our conversation. So I got to talk to Scott for a second, because you were like, I think at one point trying to get the tape right. I don't know I think it was before Red.
Yeah.
Where as you said, you were like almost in tears.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear this tough guy that I'm looking at right now talk about almost to tears.
Oh, it took forever. And when John and I mocked it up in his kitchen, it looked decent. But yeah, when I taped it like 6 times, pulled it off. Back and forth. I didn't think it was gonna work. I was ready to fail on it, but yeah, I just thought, you know what, screw it. Did the last time, and it worked. But
well, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, because I'm glad you didn't. It didn't deter you from continuing.
Yeah, no,
because that would have sucked.
But no. Yeah,
I knew you'd do it. See, that was the thing. I knew it was going to happen. I just had to sit back and let you do it.
Yeah. But it was driving me nuts. But yeah.
I love the oil finish that you put on the back of the neck, because it just feels awesome.
Yep.
And I'm a guy that I hate stuff on the neck, but in most cases I just deal with it. But this thing feels great, and it was amazing to see it. I mean, it was a while before I actually had it in my hands, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want them to ship it. I'm going to Canada soon. We got to meet somewhere. And the funny thing is, meeting in the parking lot between Mississauga and London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Cars driving by and yeah.
And going, what's going on there? It's not a drug deal, I'll tell you that.
Trucks going by on the 401.
You got a kid with him. It can't be. Oh, wait, maybe it is.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
But that was funny. That was the first time we actually met face to face, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a nice summer day. Good thing it wasn't raining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we would have been inside with masks.
In the car, in the truck.
Yeah.
Right?
No photos.
Yeah.
Photos with masks on in Tim Hortons.
That was the other thing. Yeah. What a time. COVID. We're trying to do all this.
Yeah.
You know what? It's stuff like that that makes everything, I'm looking for a word here. It makes it tolerable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like it's such an amazing, and I love being able to, now I'm playing this guitar. Now I'm recording this guitar. Now I go out live and I'm going to play it live. And to me, that's the next stage, which is really cool. But seeing it come together, I'm going to repeat myself here. I was blown away. It exceeded any expectations I had, because again, completely different body, completely different wood, completely different everything. So for it to come together like this, it was pretty amazing. Because I think I saw a Frankenstrat kind of Les Paul thing, but it wasn't, obviously Les Paul routes, and it wasn't aged. Like, Scott, the way you age, man, it's crazy. And I'm not talking about your face, but
that's natural.
It's not. It's like the way you. It's so close. And you were sending me pictures, and then I sent it to some other Frankenstrat fanatics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're like, what? He put the blue on there? I'm like, and they're like, who is this guy? I mean, it was so like, you guys really, 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 really have done your homework, and it's
we care,
present.
Right? We care about Eddie. We care about,
but it's present,
right?
It's present on the whole thing. It's just so everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's the blue,
the mystery blue.
The mystery blue, it was lent on a just painted bench, and Eddie just left it. I think that's the story, right?
There's so many stories. Nobody really knows the truth. Scott, do you know the real truth behind it?
I thought they said it was on the flight case, the blue on the flight case. That was painted and stenciled, and then he put it against it, but I don't know. Could be the blue's similar, but I don't know if that's it or not. Yeah.
I think Wolfgang knows, and someday, he may tell us.
Yeah. Maybe he did it as a kid. I guess he couldn't have now.
It's been on there since it was on there in 91.
Yeah.
Or 90, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It was on there. The in Guitar World where Eddie's sitting on the stool and he's got his foot up on the amp, and he's got like the Tisco guitar with him and everything on the cover. Yeah. I think that was 1990, and you can see the blue on the back of the Frankie then.
Wow.
So who knows? It wasn't on it when before he retired it, like 1980 and stuff like that. It wasn't on the back.
Right.
So,
I mean,
in 1980, it wasn't there. In the heyday, before the guitar was retired, it wasn't on it. It was after he retired it. Somehow it got on there.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're saying. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, so it's kind of a mystery, right? Like, we don't know when exactly or.
Yeah, but you know what's amazing? I mean, obviously, losing Ed was a huge devastation to a lot of us, but so much content has come out since.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up and I go to all the Van Halen fan pages on Instagram, and I see something I've never seen before all the time, like on a daily basis. Oh man, I never saw this picture before. And it looks like he's in Toronto. He's wearing that blue jumpsuit. And I saw that tour in 1980 Invasion. Blue changed my life. And it's just the whole, waking up and knowing that I'm going to see something new. It's funny because, I mean, I understand watermarks, but don't put them on his face, man.
Yeah.
I understand that you want to own the image. I understand that. I respect that.
Mhm.
But
Put it at the bottom.
Yeah, put it somewhere, and then if I mean, nobody wants to hunt down people using their photos without credit, because that sucks too as
Sure.
an artist, right? It's like writing a song and somebody steals your song and doesn't give you credit.
Yeah.
Wait, that happened last week.
Did it really?
No.
Who ripped you off? You can tell us. We won't tell anybody.
No, you know what's funny? What happens when you become a session player is I was in the studio one time and I was working on a record by a female artist, and the song came in from a songwriter. And when they said, hey, do your thing and let's beat the demo, but the record company really likes the verse part, so do that. And then when I was learning the verse part, I was like, wait a minute, this is something I did on the last Kelly Clarkson record.
Hmm.
So I was knocking off somebody knocking me off.
Oh my God.
So I was like, what? How did that happen? But that's what happens, man. It's music.
Yeah,
everybody steals from, it's licks too. When you're a player, everybody steals licks, but I mean, it's a form of flattery, because people could try to do Ed, and people are doing it every day. But there's one out of 1,000 where you go, yeah. And then 999 where you're like, man, where's your soul? Where's your fire? Where's your joy?
Playing notes is one thing.
Yeah, Ed was all that. He was all about joy and all about mojo and stuff, So to see people just accurately get through it, that's like watching water. What's the saying? Watching paint dry.
Yeah. Well, you can watch 8-year-old girls on YouTube play Eruption.
Yeah.
Without any emotion, just because they, gone through it.
I know.
But Eddie always had that fire when he played.
Always. Oh, and that's what made everybody wake up, And I know it's funny too, because people send me, hey, you got to check out this girl. She's 14 and she nails Eruption. And I'm like, does she do a backflip while tapping? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then I don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
I want to see somebody do a backflip and tap at the same time. That's what I want to see. So, hey, send me those videos. Yeah.
Yeah. People can play Eruption. It's not the big deal. It's how he came up with it too. How he invented it and made it his own.
Well, yeah, but also how, there's a swing to everything he did that a lot of people miss.
Yeah. And
I miss too. I miss hearing it. It's like, and it's funny too, because everybody, like I was talking to John Shanks, he produced the last Van Halen record. So he had a lot of really full, deep discussions with Ed.
Wow.
And Shanks was tapping and Ed's like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm tapping. He goes, yeah, not like that. So Ed told Shanks, and this is coming from Ed himself. So I'm not the horse's mouth, but I'm pretty close. So how Ed was going like, so everybody does the push down, right? And Ed was like, no, man, I've been pulling up since I started. This motion, not that motion.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. I can't do it.
I can't do it the way Eddie does. Like Eddie holds onto the neck like a clamp.
Yeah.
And he just moves around. I can't do it that way. I mean, I'm not great at it anyway. So, but still, it's watching him do that. And you'd think it's something that, somebody could come up with, but you think afterwards there's going to be a bazillion people that could do it way better, and nobody really could. Eddie really owned it.
There's a lot of people that took it somewhere else, and like the multiple and the forefinger, and I think Nuno took it somewhere really cool, and Red Beach took it somewhere really cool. I think there are people that took it somewhere really cool, but when you go back to the basic Eddie Van Halen introduction to the world, it's kind of like, what?
And he's always had like a little blues lick or something at the end just to finish it off. It wasn't a part of a solo, like this is my tapping time, it just blended into everything else that he was doing seamlessly.
Because it was in his DNA.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he was only doing it for about 6 months when they had recorded Van Halen 1.
Yeah.
So he did all that in 6 months. But mind you, I recently heard a Van Halen cover of Gene Genie by David Bowie played at like Gazzari's or Whiskey.
Wow.
And Ed, it's pre-bar, pre-whammy bar, pre-tapping, blazing. It's like, oh my God. You hear licks that went into You Really Got Me. You hear licks that went into, oh, it's unbelievable. I got, it's just a YouTube, 1975, Gene Genie.
Did it just come out or?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what comes out now or what comes out 6 months ago, or you just find stuff. There's stuff that I have found that I couldn't find ever again. And I hate when that happens. Yeah. It's like somebody took it down.
Well, that happens too sometimes. Yeah. Copyright stuff sometimes will take it down because for some dumb reason. But yeah, I mean, I used to search in all that stuff years ago, but I don't so much anymore unless it pops up and I'll watch it. But that I would like to.
Or even recently, the most recently that somebody sent me was the isolated track of "So This Is Love."
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You shared that with us.
I was like, "This is unbelievable!" Like his pocket and groove.
Yeah.
And how some chords are staccato and then not, and then it's like he's just like all over the map but coherent.
And it sounds like it's all pieced together, right? Like all those like sections are just punched in, and when you listen to like Alex with it, it's a full song. It doesn't sound like he's doing that. It's
I mean, cool. I know he punched in the solos with an ES335 because he said that in an interview back then. But I also think he was playing. This is where the geek Phil X comes out. I personally think he played the whole song on either a Les Paul or the Shark, and then for the one dive bomb with the guitar before the solo, he punched it in.
Could be.
Like when I listen to it, that's what I hear.
That's the album he did the most work on. Like he sat and did like punch ins and stuff. It wasn't like the early albums where they would go in and record like the whole thing with minimal overdubs. Like that was the album that he really worked hard on. I think he actually slept at the recording studio to do all that. So yeah, it's cool to hear those isolated tracks. You know, and without Alex's drums, it sounds odd in places.
Yeah, it does. Because he's got that, and he even describes it as falling down the stairs but landing on your feet.
Yeah.
So
really
when you hear it against the drums, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
When he does it you're like, well, where'd the one go, dude?
He's out of time.
But he had that. He just had that. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why we're here.
That's where. Have I played yet? I haven't played yet, have I?
There we go. Oh, now he's cutting out a little bit. Oh man, you cut out a little bit, but you could still hear it.
Is it cutting out?
No, it's good now.
Yeah.
Okay. Edit. Oh man.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
This video is proof if anybody says you don't deserve that guitar, that this video is proof that you do deserve it. Oh my God.
Thanks, honey. Wait, turn it down. It's like turned down, it sounds like it turned up, and I'm not even going. I mean, we really weren't going for a Van Halen tone.
Not really, no.
For the look.
Yeah.
And it just, and I mean, it does sound different. I have guitars that sound a little more Van Halen because it's more along the wood makeup. But this is kind of like if and kind of all.
Oh man, you're cutting out again, but I think we understand what you're
Just
saying.
got that my arcane.
No, I heard him. I heard him. Okay.
You heard him? Okay.
I think it's you, man. I think, okay, so I know a lot of people ask, people like, hey, what pickup did you put in that? Well, this is the Arcane PX Super 8. It's got an Allen weight magnet. And where we got the idea, and this is, I was doing this pickup way before we thought of doing an Eddie Van Halen tribute. And it's the Allen 8 magnet is in the Super 70 pickup that is in the Ibanez Destroyer that Ed used on the first record. So that's where the whole idea came. So we had the PX8, which is like a lower output, and then the PX Super 8, which is a higher output, which is about 15 or 16 in resistance. But it just has this thing where it still sounds clear and it's got punch and the highs aren't too brittle and bitey. And it just has this really amazing, and I know everybody's got their theories and all this stuff. Yeah. And to me, it's like when I plug in, I just start playing anything and it sounds a certain way. So even if there was one time I dialed in the Eddie Van Halen tone at home in my other house. And not that I have two. And I don't want to get anybody misconceptions here. Phil's got two houses. No.
Your weekend house.
No, that's my buddy John. But so I got this tone dialed in and I was doing a session for somebody else. And then I thought, oh, I got the Ed tone dialed in. Why don't I just record the solo with that? And then I got the wall of guitars for the rhythms. And then I tried to put the Eddie Van Halen tone in a solo form on top of the wall of guitars. And it sounded terrible.
Wow.
And then I turn everything off and I start doing Eddie Van Halen licks and it sounds amazing. But when I start doing anything else, it doesn't. Which means it's like, I'm not going to say that I have Ed's hands, but I'm going to say that he has this thing that coupled with the guitar and coupled with the amp and anything going in front of it, anything in the middle of it, anything miking on that cabinet and stuff like that. It just, no matter what he was plugged into, it would sound amazing.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. His chain went from his brain to the speaker cabinet. Like there was no break in between. Like he could feel the sound coming out and know exactly how to hold the string and how to pluck it. Like you can tell by his playing.
I have a great story. It was Mike Plotnikoff, an engineer friend of mine. We've done a lot of stuff with Howard Benson together. And he worked on Balance, I think, with Bruce Fairburn. And so Eddie got up to take a leak and Bruce plays guitar, picked up Ed's guitar because he wanted to hear what a part sounded like. And he looks at Mike and goes, "Where'd the tone go?" And I was like, "It went to the restroom,
dude." Well, they said that about Hendrix too, that people would play his guitar through his rig and just get feedback. They couldn't even control it.
No,
Hendrix could get up there.
He was a wizard. Like his volume knob was the biggest part of his tone because he could turn on the fuzz face and turn it down so it wouldn't blow up and get all the articulation out. And then when he really wanted it fuzzy, he just turned up. And he had that down. It was unbelievable.
That's kind of a secret too, is knowing when to turn the volume down, right? To get a little more tone, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on the guitar too. And a lot of people put resistors on volume pots, but if you have a really good audio pot, I don't think you have to do that. But it's funny listening to story. One of my other favorite stories isn't, a lot of people read this, but Ted Nugent back in the day wanted to check out Ed's rig, and he goes, "Hey man, can I check out your rig?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So Ted Nugent plugged into Ed's rig and sounded like Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I use that as a joke now because people are like, "Oh man, check out this Eddie tone." I'm like, "Yeah, it sounds a little more like Ted Nugent." I'm a dick that way. I can't help it. But it's also funny. Wait, there was another one. Hearing so many people talk about like tone and stuff. And people send it to me, man. Check out this dude, man. He's got the tone dialed. And I'm like, I wish people started sending me stuff.
Like you were saying about this guitar sounding like Eddie's, but when you think about it, this is like all mahogany. There's no ash on it at all. So it's a completely different makeup compared to what Eddie had, and yet you're getting that tone out of it.
Well, I mean, that's what? Wait, Scott, what?
The tones in the paint.
That's right. I knew it, man.
Extra toner?
I knew it. This ain't no Home Depot job. Come on.
It's all lead paint.
But I found a pedal recently. It's made by CKK and it's called the Scream Honey. And when you put it in front of a Marshall, it's very Eddie Van Halen. It's just the components. It's got vintage components in it. And a friend of mine turned me on to it. But then another friend of mine said, you got to get one. And then I contacted the company and they sent me one to check out. And I was like, what? And then I post a video of it and people everybody goes to Scream Honey and they're like, oh, they're not making them anymore. So I got pretty lucky. I got one of the last ones.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine was like, what do you think of it, man? I go, I want to say it's Eddie. It's like Van Halen in a box.
Wow.
But not if you have, now who can I insult? I can't insult anybody. Not if you have so-and-so's hands.
Yeah.
Like if we weren't being filmed for like public consumption,
Yeah.
I would put a guitar player under the bus right now.
Just text it to us and we'll just laugh like,
Okay, here, I'm texting it to you right now. Okay. No, seriously.
And we'll just laugh. I want to see who you choose.
Okay, you guys ready? Okay, here
we
go.
I gotta put my glasses on. My cheaters. What are you playing through, by the way?
We could talk about that.
I'm gonna show it. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's still 3 dots.
Okay, wait, here it comes. This sounds like Van Halen in a box, but not if you have this guy's hands.
I agree 100%. Oh,
John froze.
Funny.
Oh, you froze, man.
Oh no, did it? I said I agree 100%. Oh.
So I'm playing through not only the Scream Honey, I'm also playing through my Friedman X signature head.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm going into the Captor X. Not X has nothing to do with me. It just happens to be called Captor X by 2 notes, and it's a cabinet simulator. So, and my buddy over there, Justin Bryant, he sent me a cabinet that he thinks is very Van Halen. And you can also split the room. The reverb that you're hearing is in the Captor X.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh.
It's that room.
Uh-oh, everybody's freezing up. Scott, you frozen?
And I don't know if I said anything that would get him in trouble.
Is it me or you guys that are freezing?
Hopefully.
I'm just calm. We're freezing?
Yeah, it seems to be. I don't know if it's my connection or what's going on.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you guys are all frozen.
Well, you're in
Oh,
London.
you're back again.
That's the problem, London.
Technology. Gotta love this.
Yeah, so you're frozen.
Yeah, you're
You
frozen.
gotta
again.
love it and you gotta hate it.
Oh
Do
man.
you wanna?
Do you want to stop this one and start another one, or
back in?
yeah, you want to do that? Let me just pause
Frozen on my
recording.
thumb.
I'm good.
Thank you.